Yo, what's going on, Jets Nation? It's your boy Richie, and today I want to break down 5 potential trade targets for these New York Jets. As we all know, the trade deadline is right around the corner. It's Tuesday. I know we got a game to get through tomorrow against the New York Giants, kicking off at 1 p.m. I will actually be live for the game, if you guys are not aware by that, for my live play-by-play reactions. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. for the pregame and, of course, the game, if you're interested in that. But in this video, I just want to break down some trade targets. The trade deadline is a few days after tomorrow's game, and I feel like the Jets, if they really want to be aggressive here, they could potentially make some moves. Now, as we know, Dalvin Cook and Carl Lawson are both available, and they both spoke to the media this week to voice their frustration. So maybe a trade could be happening, and the question is, are the Jets just going to trade away Dalvin Cook and Carl Lawson potentially for draft picks, or could there be some players involved in those trades to kind of get back a player to add depth to some positions that I think the New York Jets should definitely strongly consider adding depth at these specific positions? So folks, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of some of your trade targets, and hit that thumbs up button if you did not already. Really helps out this channel more than you know. Let's get straight into business. The first trade target I have is Hunter Renfro, wide receiver of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is a player who was arguably like a really talented receiver for the Raiders a few years back, but all of a sudden the Raiders, they bring in Jacoby Myers, they bring in Devonte Adams last season, and he's the odd man out, and he is a very talented receiver for, the Raiders. And I feel like if the Jets want to be aggressive here and bring in another weapon for Zach Wilson, I would strongly consider bringing in Hunter Renfro, right? You look at the current situation of the New York Jets wide receiver room. We trade away McCole Hardman, Corey Davis retired in the summer. I know that Xavier Gibson's probably going to get more playing time for the New York Jets, but I would love to bring in Hunter Renfro if, maybe the Raiders are interested in Carl Lawson, and you can flip Carl Lawson for Renfro, maybe add in a couple picks here and there to make things happen. Again, I don't know exactly what the New York Jets are expecting to get in return for a guy like Lawson or Dalvin Cook, but Hunter Renfro is an interesting player. We know that he's disgruntled over there in Vegas. We know that the Raiders are shopping him, so definitely a name to keep an eye out for the New York Jets if they want to be aggressive and bring in another weapon on the offense. Another player who's at a similar position is Courtland Sutton. Now, Courtland Sutton's an interesting one because he's probably going to be a little more pricey, right? I know Jerry Jeudy's also potentially on the trade block with these Denver Broncos just going downhill, potentially be sellers at the deadline. But Courtland Sutton is an interesting player because, he's under contract for next season, and if the Jets want to be really aggressive and add as much talent around their quarterback, this is a potential target for these New York Jets. Now, me personally, I don't know if I'm going to bet my money on the Jets going after a guy like Courtland Sutton, because of the price. Apparently the report is the Broncos are looking for something along the lines of a second-round pick, third-round pick for Courtland Sutton. And remember, the Jets do not own their own second-round pick this season. That is to the Green Bay Packers. So I don't really think this is realistic, but definitely something to keep in mind because Courtland Sutton's name is definitely floating around the trade circles. Another wide receiver is Donovan's People-Jones. Now, this is an interesting one because he's a free agent next year, and usually those are the type of guys that, teams want to get rid of. And this is a player for the Cleveland Browns. Similar story to Renfro, right? There's a crowded wide receiver room now with Elijah Moore there, Amari Cooper there, and Donovan's Peoples-Jones brings a speed element, and this could be a trade where if the Cleveland Browns are looking for even Dalvin Cook, we know that Nick Chubb is out for the season. I know that they got some running backs there. They brought in their veteran Kareem Hunt. But at the end of the day, if they're interested in Dalvin Cook, maybe they want to boost their trenches up with Carl Lawson, or it's just a pick swap. You can see Donovan People-Jones potentially be an option for the Jets to target, again, if they want to add depth and provide more weapons for the quarterback. Now, getting into the next player, a player that's not a wide receiver, and that's Garrett Bowles, tackle for the Denver Broncos. Now, this is an interesting one because he is, he's been their franchise left tackle for years and years in Denver, and the Denver Broncos have a sale here, and we all are comfortable with our left tackle with Mekhi Becton, but the issue with the offensive line is health, right? We have AVT done for the season. Dwayne Brown's expected to return soon. Joe Tippmann's dealing with a thigh injury. We don't know what the deal is with Dwayne Brown even when we bring him back. Is he going to play at left tackle and Mekhi goes to right tackle? I sure hope not. I want Mekhi to be at left tackle. Now, this is kind of a move where the Jets just want to be aggressive and just bolster up this offensive line and prevent any other injury scares. I know that he's a left tackle, but this is a player that is, a seasoned veteran. He's a very good football player, and this is just one of those moves of Joe Douglas potentially being aggressive to really bolster up this offensive line. We know that we got Max Mitchell at right tackle right now. He is a backup, but I am looking at him, I have a lot of expectations for Max Mitchell in the run game, but the pass protection for Max Mitchell has been a little up in the air. But I do think that Max Mitchell in year number 2 has a lot of upside with this offensive line. So not the end of the world, but this is definitely someone that's on the trade block, right? The Broncos are selling offensive linemen. You never know if Joe Douglas wants to bring him in. And last but not least, this is definitely the biggest pipe dream of them all. I don't really expect the Jets to get him at the deadline, but it is someone to keep in mind for in the offseason, and that is superstar wide receiver Devonte Adams. Now, Devonte Adams, he's not going to be a Jet at the deadline, but I definitely wanted to end off the video with him because I feel like the Jets should be aggressive for him in the offseason. I really believe that. We don't know how this season is going to go, and I know that no one really cares about targets in the offseason right now, but based off what we're hearing, Devonte Adams is still upset at the Raiders that they shipped off Derek Carr. That's the reason why he's in the Raiders. The Jets have Aaron Rodgers. The Jets have Nathaniel Hackett. The stars are aligning. Garrett Wilson's changing his number to 5, so then jersey number 17 is available for the Jets next season. I don't know. I just want to manifest it and put it out there on this video for now. Again, don't expect it to happen at the deadline, but potentially happening in the offseason. So, folks, those are my potential trade targets for the New York Jets. Again, don't really expect like the Jets to be aggressive for any of these guys. I just wanted to bring up some players that have been circling around the trade block. And again, we have 2 of our own players in Lawson and Cook potentially moved. And there is a chance, by the way, that neither of them are moved. It's not guaranteed. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, guys. And if you did not already, please hit that thumbs up button. Would really appreciate that. Jets Media is out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and let's go Jets. Peace out, everybody.